Welcome to Chasing K-Dramas, the podcast that dissects popular Korean dramas episode by episode. We delve into the characters, themes, and everything in between. I am Dulcé Sloan, and I'm here with my co-host,
Chrissy Choi.
In today's chase, we'll be recapping episode 15 of Queen of Tears. Now, this one is full of, what do you say, makjang?
It's a lot of makjang.
Okay.
It's a lot of makjang. I feel like the writers are phoning it in.
I mean, it feels like the writers have a call bank. It feels like this is giving Jerry Lewis Telethon. This is giving phone bank. This is every phone call. This is MCI.
This is
to cut the phone pole.
It is absolutely crazy. I feel like you have to really suspend disbelief at like in many points, and we'll talk about it. But so the major moments that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Eunsung is brainwashing Haein.
Like her mind is in a laundromat.
Completely turning her away from Hyunwoo and her family. It's fucking awful. I can't believe Hyunwoo serves time and then gets acquitted.
Is this how fast the justice system works in Korea?
Single episode. He goes to prison and then has a case and
he is arrested, extradited to another country, put in another jail, goes on trial, and then gets acquitted. Is this how fast trials go in Korea?
Apparently it is.
Because in America, actually, that Luigi boy, they really put him to trial faster than I've ever seen anybody go to trial.
When did that happen? Oh, that happened at the beginning of when we started recording, so like November, right?
But he's in court right now. When have you ever seen somebody go to court this fast? I mean, in New York?
Yes.
In real life?
It's nuts.
Whoever did his eyebrows, though.
He's a good-looking kid.
Hats off to you.
And then Haein's diary magically comes back from the dead.
From the flames.
From the flames. Resurrected from the dead. And then finally, Haein believes Hyunwoo.
Oh.
God.
So, the opening scene.
Yes.
Hyunwoo tearfully waits for Haein's surgery, and he's clutching her diary with the 4-leaf clover.
Yes.
And as she goes under anesthesia, she whispers his name.
Hyunwoo.
Why? Because Hyunwoo told her in the epilogue the way that he remembered all of the law was to say the same thing over and over again. And she's like, I can't forget. So even as I go under into the great space while the memories are burned from my brain.
Burned from the pages.
These are the days of your life.
Okay,
so while Hyunwoo's getting arrested, Eunsung finds the diary. First of all, he finds a diary. He reads it. And then I guess he's looking for a place to throw it away and sees a fire in the trash can next to a hospital. This is the thing. I understand it's snowing. If there was like a fire in this trash can where there were like people standing around it to get warm, would have made more sense than a fire
in the middle, just randomly next to a hospital. Just on. Just
a fire in a trash can.
And then the snow magically protects it.
First of all, it starts raining. Then it starts snowing. And then between the rain and so like the snow, like the rain comes and like puts the fire out. God. Just like an itsy bitsy spider. The rain comes, and then they must start again. And so the rain comes and knocks the fire down, and then the snow comes down to smother it and protect it. Because, nothing protects paper like water.
It is, honestly, it's so stupid. Like, honestly, it's so stupid.
I don't know why, like, the first time I watched it, I was like,
You just nodded. You're like, great, protect that thing.
Keep it safe.
That is the one piece of evidence we have for Haein. But
and then the second time I watched it, I was like, this is stupid.
It's so stupid.
But the first time I was like, yee! I was so excited for the rain. And I was like, wait a minute, it's leather bound. Shouldn't this have just gone up and
what? Immediately, as soon as it landed. But then back in the hospital, the nurses are gossiping because we talked about this last episode. Like, why would they let a random man walk in and be the new guardian? So they're like chatting, they're gossiping, and they're just like, what is happening? Why is there a new fiance? What happened to the old fiance? And then it comes out that the director of the hospital told them to shut their mouths because Eunsung has donated money to them.
Where did he get money from?
Because
he wouldn't even give money to the land guy.
He's spending that slush fund.
But then why wouldn't he pay old boy?
Because he didn't have the slush fund at that point, right?
Oh, but then he got the money and just decided to kill him?
Like spending the ducats, yeah.
So it's just like, you could have just paid this, but you can't pay him now because he didn't kill Hyunwoo. So now he's a liability.
So,
all right, sustained.
So that's the crazy
but
opening.
Shout out to the German nurses for being like, what the hell is going on? And then them just being like, nope, we got money. Shut your stupid mouth.
God. Okay, and then Hyunwoo's arrested.
Yes.
So then, he's getting interrogated by this investigator, this Korean investigator, who honestly, the detective seems more stupid than Hyunwoo because basically whoever planted the evidence, we know who it is, they did a really sorry ass job because they left like all of the items behind. Like the murder weapon, everything was just kind of left behind. So Hyunwoo's point is like, why would I leave the murder weapon behind if I really did it? Wouldn't
So my hair was in the car, but then I left
yes
a knife with my fingerprints on it on the ground,
right
next to the car. What are you talking about?
And then he's like, well, you have a cut on your hand. He's like, yeah, if I had a cut on my hand with the knife, wouldn't it be on the other side?
It would have been on my palm, not on my knuckles. Because because that's how you fuck your knuckles up, by stabbing somebody. Yeah. How rough was his suit? What am I stabbing through if I'm fucking my knuckles up? And so he was like, and then he goes, well, you're a lawyer. You know how to spin this. You're like, dude, come on.
Like, use your brain. Sir, use your brain.
Aren't you supposed to be the police?
Fucking stupid and sloppy. So there
was an accident. So then Eunsung is starting the brainwashing. So there was an accident before the surgery, and then the car almost killed them. Mm-hmm. And he thinks that Hyunwoo sent it, and he's a bad person who'll do anything because he has a grudge. So he's basically describing himself.
Yes, he's describing himself to
Haein. And then you realize why he has the bandage on, because he tells her that they weren't in the car and that he hit the car window and smashed it with his hand because he thought that she was in the car. And so he committed to the lie because his hand is bashed up. And then, this is my girl what moment. So he tells Haein that Hyunwoo had an affair. So he's murdered somebody.
Murdered someone.
Y'all were married. He's stalking you. He's a bad man. He tried to kill us.
Uh-huh.
And then outside of all of that, he was trying to divorce you. And then you tried to commit suicide because he had an affair. And my question is, and this is my girl what moment, why are you telling her she tried to commit suicide? Because everything you said was correct.
Yeah.
He didn't have an affair. No. He did try to divorce her.
Yep.
But he was like, well, he tried to divorce you because he had an affair. And because he had this affair and tried to divorce you, you tried to commit suicide. And my question is, why are you
saying that she tried to commit suicide?
And that Hyunwoo had an affair? Because you're trying to explain why he filed for divorce. But this was my girl what moment, because I was like, he did not need to tell her that she tried to take her own life. What is the point
of that?
What was the point of that? And it was just like, I guess if I'm gonna lie, then I have to be like, this man was so awful that you tried to end it all. And then she was kind of like, that doesn't sound like me, but okay. Well, mind you, she doesn't even know who the she is, but she was still like, that doesn't sound like me.
Right. And then she's having dreams too, right? She's having these like bits of her memory that's coming back. So she has a dream of and this is the incident right after she found out about the divorce papers, right? She ends up almost getting hit by the bus. So she thinks, oh, that was my suicide moment, my suicide attempt.
Oh, well, she did not move. Okay.
Yeah. So she's like waking up and she's having this. So she's listening to Eunsung. He's feeding her all this stuff. She's having these weird dreams, and she's just like, I don't know what's happening, right?
I guess. I mean, she was like, because next time, don't save me.
Yeah. She does say that. Yeah, she says that to him.
I guess she did try to. I don't feel like she was going to let herself get hit.
No, I think she was like at that point, she was at her low point, right? She had just found out about the divorce papers.
But I also think she knew he was going to save her.
I mean, I don't know. She had just been in that cloud moment. So she was waking up from that cloud moment. So she wasn't trying to kill herself.
She just didn't know where she was at. But I think
when she said that to him, she was just kind of like, listen, like, just stop it. Like, I'm at my low point. Like,
get away
just,
from me. Stop grabbing me. Stop helping me. And then I noticed that Eunsung's hair was different.
Did you notice his hair looks like Hyunwoo's hair?
He had a little like in the front.
He did this little. Usually his hair is up. But at that scene when he's telling her all this stuff, it's like casual. It's down, and it looks like Hyunwoo's hair. Because
they had like a little flip thing on one side. And I was like, "What the hell is this about?"
And then if you notice this, I thought was really weird in the hospital scene. There's a sand glass.
Oh, like the sands of time.
But like, why would there be a sand glass?
The hourglass,
or hourglass.
Well,
at the hospital, in the hospital room. Did you not notice? I was like, what the is that doing there?
Because they take a moment to like film it and like the light going around it, signifying days passing. And I was like, maybe it's part of a decor because it's not like a nurse can use that to check the time.
No, I was like, this is stupid. I don't know. That made me angry when I saw that. I was like, this is stupid.
I also have always been interested by like hourglasses and like timers like that like use sand.
It's like days of our lives.
Yes.
These are the days of our lives.
Yes. Bone Thugs and Harmony. What I will say is I've always been intrigued by like hourglasses and stuff like that because it was the original timer. But then I remember as a kid being like, how'd they figure out how much sand to get?
Yeah.
Because somebody, I guess, had to look at a sundial and be like, all right, from here to here. So there was just some dude being like, all right, this is
and then they had to time it. They had to go 1,
so somebody's like, all right, turn that sundial
3,
on.
And then like they're like a little bit more.
And then that's the next hour. And you're like, all right, boom. I was like, so we need 500 grams of sand, and that is an hour.
Yeah, they probably jotted that down. That makes sense. Smart. Humans are smart.
I mean, when you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Like if I look one day like talk about like just like Korean cooking, and I was like just the process of making kimchi, or like the different processes that you have to do to make different things. I was like, oh, you didn't have books. You didn't have books.
Korean food is literally like 5 ingredients.
Right, but I'm saying, but like there's a process, like the idea, like making kimchi, right?
Yeah.
So it's like okay.
Pickling.
We have to salt this cabbage down. Then once all the water gets out of it, then we gotta wash it, right? And then we gotta wash it. We're gonna pat that down, set that to the side. Then we gotta make the sauce. And so we have to cut up these pears, and we have to get this anchovy, and we have to get this shrimp, and we have to do this, and we have to put all these things together. And then as a town,
you gotta all come together, and you gotta
all to mix this shit because we have 500 cabbages to cut up and then preserve because there is no refrigeration. But what do we want to do with all this cabbage?
And put it on the ground,
right? And then we got like radishes, and we've got this, and we've got that, and then we got to put in these pots and put them in the ground because it's freezing, right? And then we have to eat this food throughout the winter, because there's no food to grow. And so I think about processes like that, or like anything that's like labor intensive to do.
They end up coming back, right? So he's brainwashed her, and a month has passed. And they go back to Korea.
So Hyunwoo's been in jail for a month.
Yep.
Haein's been recovering for a month.
And getting brainwashed for a month.
And brainwashed for a month.
At the airport, her family comes. It's Beomja, Haein's parents, and Soocheol. They rush over and they're greeting, right? And she's obviously, Haein is very cold.
And Soocheol introduces himself in a way where I'm just like,
hello, and I'm Soocheol. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
That was so funny. But basically, Haein
and she's
says,
like, we should get food together.
Yeah. Why don't we set up time to meet for a meal?
How dismissive.
I know. So dismissive. And her parents, her family, they're all heartbroken. And they're just like, do you even know who this person is? Like what he did to our family? She's like, oh, I know. I read all about it online. Like, I read about it. Basically, Eunsung told her that the chairman didn't want to give queens to the children. He wanted to give it to Haein, but because her family was going to get upset, he decided to give it to Moh Seul Hee and to Eunsung to take care of.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, sure. But then she says, oh, well, I know that Soocheol, you and I didn't have a good relationship because
you had a talisman against me in your wallet. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, well, mom gave me that. Yeah. And then she goes, well, didn't you try to sue me because I was close to your land? And she's like, yeah, but I didn't go through with it. And then you just see Beomja being like,
yeah, because it's all fucking true. It's all true. And then they're like, but what about your husband? And she's like, oh, the one who was like committed murder
and divorced me, tried to divorce me behind my back. And then the dad's like, so it's like no one can go, okay. They've been messy.
It's been messy. So it's like, okay. So then they go back. So
because she wants to go back to Queenstown.
Yes.
But this is my thing. Mm-hmm. Where do her parents live?
They're back.
At Queenstown.
But she's in her own. She's going back to her own house.
Right.
Yes.
So that means that Eunsung, because when they moved back to their house, where did Moh Seul Hee go?
She's still in Queenstown.
So she's in the house the chairman gave her.
Yeah.
And then Haein's parents are at their house.
Yes.
So then where's Eunsung?
I think Eunsung is on the property. Eunsung is still in that random house. Remember that we had that one house that we couldn't figure out? Yeah. He's there because, yeah. So
all of them are just on the same compound.
Right. But Eunsung wanted to take Haein somewhere else. But Haein is very insistent that she's back in her house because she's like, I want to be where I'm comfortable or where I used to live so the memories can come back.
Oh, Moh Seul Hee is probably in the chairman's house.
She's in the chairman's house, yeah. That's why she's in that office.
So it makes sense that Moh Seul Hee is in the chairman's house. Eunsung's in the house that the chairman built for Moh Seul Hee.
Yeah.
And then her parents are in their house.
Yeah.
And then Haein's in
her house.
God bless. I would love to have do you know Will Smith and his house and all of that? They have their own zip code.
I'm sure they do.
Because it's just like so big. I listen. I want land. I want to be able to go. There's my brother's house. There's my mom's house. Yeah. I'm going to be able to go like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom, boom.
It's nice just having everything there. But Eunsung does say to her, he's like, hey, remember that promise you made? He makes it up. He lies and he says, you promised me that you would get married, that we would get married after your surgery.
So she has no idea that Hyunwoo was there. And then no one else tells her.
This is why this entire drama pisses me off is that, again, I understand she's brainwashed right now, but why is her parents not like explaining to her what happened? Why is no one around her explaining?
I'm just trying to figure out with the embezzlement, was no one else in the family allowed to leave Korea? Because I honestly, before you said something, I didn't even think about the fact that the mom or Beomja.
No, they could have all left again.
Because even
drama magic.
Even because like, it was because the whole family wasn't being charged with embezzlement because the mother didn't work.
No,
Beomja didn't work. So, but it's like, but what would have happened if Beomja came? Then you would have gotten.
Yeah,
Eunsung would have had like pushback.
It's just again, I don't think it's very believable what's happening at this point. So then she goes back to Queenstown. She's back in her home. Yeah. Eunsung and Moh Seul Hee have a reunion. This reunion it's a lot.
And she's reading, and I saw that she was reading an article in English.
I did not know she spoke English.
Neither.
For someone who apparently she's well educated.
I mean, to be honestly, she can't be that dumb doing all this crazy shit.
That's true.
But I was like, because I thought it was my TV. And I was like, wait, my TV wouldn't have converted.
No.
Wouldn't have translated an article into English.
Yeah. No, she was reading in English. She is in the chairman's room. In his office. And she is the new head honcho. She has a beautiful new hairstyle. She looked very good here.
I don't know why they decided to finally do her hair.
She looked great.
But I'm very excited for everybody.
She was very pretty.
She looked amazing. Her hair was stunning.
So Eunsung confronts her and he's like, did you send hitmen to kill Haein and Hyunwoo? And Moh Seul's like, yep, I did it.
And say something.
Else? What are you going to do?
Say something.
I told you to be careful. I told you to watch out. And you didn't.
I told you keep an eye on your bitch.
Yep. And
I also told you stop f***ing with her.
Yeah. And then Eunsung's just like, well, if that's the case, I just want to let you know that I know what you did to the chairman. Because
When the
guess
chairman
what?
fell down.
Yes, because guess what? That little painting there, my little Napoleon painting, it has eyes.
So she didn't know he had a camera in that painting. She had to know.
She had to have known. So again, she had to have known because wasn't he watching? They watched clips of the chairman
Together.
So again,
I think she never thought that he would try to use that against her.
yeah, but I hate the way the writing made it seem like
She didn't know.
I'm so sorry. So if I'm in the writer's room right now, I'd be like, guys, this doesn't make any sense. Like, let's go back to our notes. Let's go back to the notes. Let's look. Like, this is, again, it's like kind of sloppy. Maybe I'm being a little bit critical,
No,
but
we
it's
lost the plot.
It's just, it doesn't just, it's,
No,
yeah.
we lost the plot because it's just like he says he's trying to blackmail her. But
he's like, I'm going to send you to prison the way I sent Hyunwoo. And she's like, sure, whatever.
All
you
right.
do it.
Run it.
See, let's go. You know?
I love a let's go. Let's go.
Oh my God. And this part. So Haein is back in Queenstown. Remember
When she starts opening those drawers, and I was like, I said in my house, I was like, it's empty. It's empty. It's empty. And then she goes, these drawers are empty. This is what I don't understand. He didn't have to take out everything. Her creams, her lotions.
Like, what is she going to do?
She's just dry. She's sitting in her room. She's got to the hospital. She's probably dry as shit. And so I'm just like, but the thing you leave is the MP3
Okay,
player?
so this really pisses me off. Why would the MP3 player be in Queenstown?
It should be in Yeongdeori.
It's in Yeongdeori because guess what? The last time we saw it,
It was in Hyunwoo's room.
Hyunwoo takes it from her, wraps it up, and puts it into his drawer. This is so
I was so
sloppy.
confused.
This is so fucking sloppy.
Why is this here?
It makes zero sense.
So-
Again, writers, come on.
It's like the writer's room changed. You know what this is giving? This is giving Tyler Perry plot. She wrote this by herself. She doesn't remember everything that happened. Because it shouldn't be. And then also, it's like she didn't see her own name on the MP3 player. Oh, God. So she didn't even see the initial. I don't even think it was the same MP3 player. Because I was like, these headphones are wrong. What's going on? And it's like, they almost were like, oh, what if she finds him? I was like, this is confusing. Because this should be at Hyunwoo's house. It shouldn't be at her house.
It did not even need to be there because she's like, oh, I like her taste in music. And I'm like, yeah, because it's fucking clearly your own MP3 player if it's in your own fucking house.
But it was in his bedroom. But it shouldn't have been in Queenstown. Anyway, it should have been in Yeongdeori. So I was just like, well, what the fuck is this? And I saw it on the I was like, why is this on the counter?
So that's the one thing that they left behind.
That's the one thing they didn't throw away is a 15-year-old MP3 player. Mind you, you threw away a sonogram. Throwing away the sonogram made sense, but I was like, pins?
Unless we're missing another like flashback or epilogue for episode 16 where maybe, I don't know, Hyunwoo before he went to Germany, he like implanted that MP3 player.
Just dropped it off at the house real quick. Like this will help her remember me. Like I don't understand.
Oh my God.
I still don't. When I saw all the drawers were empty, Lily said in my house, why are the drawers empty? And then she looks in the last one and she goes, they're all empty. And I'm like, this makes no. I lived here. If I lived here, why is there nothing in my vanity?
So also like Eunsung is stupid. So you really think this woman's going to believe you? You took out everything and then you're going to tell her, oh, like this is your house. Like this is your stuff. You don't think she's going to have questions?
Where's my shit? Even the jewelry was empty. But it's like, okay, so you don't know what jewelry he gave her. Fine. Her mind's a blank slate. You could have come in and gone, I gave you all of this. Or this is your favorite shit. But it's like, you threw her lotion away?
Also, realistically, if I'm Haein right now, I come back to a house that's completely empty. Like it's like a museum type of house. And there's all my things are gone.
I wouldn't even believe I lived there.
I'd be like, what is this? I'd be freaking out.
I'd be like, where's my stuff? I don't have any perfume. I don't have any face wash. I don't have any maxi pads. Like, I ain't got no baby wipes. Like, bitch, what? Like, I never. Where is my shit? Where is this old bottle of shampoo? Where is this face cream that I rarely ever like? It's like there's no face mask in here. There's not even a bobby pin.
It is.
There's not a bobby pin. There's not a hair tie. There's no hair. What woman doesn't have a fucking hair tie somewhere? I've got these little hair combs that I like to use. They're all over my stuff. They're all over my stuff. There's supposed to be a cough drop stuck to the bottom of this drawer.
Yes. So Haein decides because her home is empty and she has no memories there and she has nothing to connect herself to her old life, she decides to visit Hyunwoo in prison. She's curious.
Sorry, that made water fall out of my mouth.
All good. Also, why would she just go visit Hyunwoo? The man, she was fed lies all month long, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the guy who stalked me," and it's
because he knows who I am. Because that's what lets me know she knows something is up. Something has to be up. I got in my house. There's nothing in my drawers. All the information I have is from this person. She has to know that something is up for you to go down to the jail to figure out, like, I know who this. Yeah, he might be a murderer. He might have cheated on me.
He might have
stalked me. Murdered somebody else. Stalked me. Cheated on me. Divorced me behind my back. But what does he think? It's wild. Doesn't even make any sense for him to go see her.
So she goes. She meets him, and she is intrigued because Hyunwoo is so happy, sad, but very happy to see her. And it's all about her. Like, how are you feeling? How was the surgery?
Do you have any pain?
Yeah. And he's really concerned with her. And she's just like,
so cold.
Yeah. And she's like, listen, like, I know what you're trying to do. I heard all the things you did to me. You've done awful things to me. And then he's like, so then, like, if you believed all this, why are you here?
Oh, why are you here?
And then she's like, I needed to confirm. Like, I needed to get, to confirm with my own eyes that this is true.
We've all been in a I need confirmation space.
Sure. She needed confirmation.
You needed to, listen, if some man goes through all of that and you don't remember him, you're like, I got to clap eyes on this dude. Because you did all of this?
It's a lot of things to do to
I'm one person.
I married a guy who tried to, like you said, kill, stalk, cheat, divorce.
I almost took myself out because of what he did.
It's insane. So then he's like, I'm so sorry that I wasn't there when you woke up. I'm so sorry I couldn't keep my promise. He's like, I'm gonna come out. Like, I will get through this.
And she's like, you'll never see me again. He's like, yeah, I will.
Sure.
Honestly, I've had a man say that to me when I'm just like, oh, I'm never gonna see you again. And they go, we'll see each other again. I'm like,
that's a bold little
challenge
statement.
Fucking accept it. Haein is very much like, well, let's just. I just wanted to see. And it's like, it's because when she leaves, right?
I know.
Because he begs her to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then she leaves and she's like, oh, my heart is beating fast. Oh, my palms. Oh, because I'm flushed. What's going on? Because sometimes when you see your man, the heartbeat do beating fast. You get the Twitter pated.
I know. And then she's like, I have heartburn.
It's like, my heart's doing something. I got to figure out what's going on here. Oh, pharmacist, I need some assistance. Please help me with a tonic or an elixir or something. This man's got my heart all aflutter. I do miss having, like, some boy make your heart do that who, like, wants to be your boy. Because, like, having a crush is fun, but it's like, it's been a long time. Because there's been times where I've seen a man and my heart has dropped into my stomach because I didn't want to fucking see his face.
I feel like modern day dating has it hasn't allowed for that unless you're like in a work environment. So my old job, because there were a lot of young people my age, and it was like going back to like high school, college. Like you would develop crushes on people because you would interact with them. And that's fun when you're like, you have a crush. But then if you don't have that kind of environment, what are we doing now? We're on the apps.
And but before the apps, like I remember dating before apps. Like in my 20s, there were no apps. So it was just like you would just see a boy out and then your pheromones would go, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Because you can't, because it's like I'm out and about. Yeah. So unless you're like hanging around the same people or going around the same places.
I've had that, honestly. I think I've had that happen like twice. That's it. In IRL.
Where you just meet a boy and you're just like, ugh.
When you're like, oh, you're like, yeah.
That happened when I met David Banner.
Who's David Banner?
The do you mean who's David Banner?
You don't know David Banner? Play. The song Play.
You know David Banner? You can't keep doing this to me. You already did this with Morning Chestnut, and I'm already upset. You know who David Banner is? That's what
that's David Banner.
I didn't know what the name of this. I didn't know it's called Play.
I know the song.
So David Banner. So I was an extra in Stomp the Yard 2. And so I think that was the movie. I know I was in Lottery Ticket and the camera was never on me.
That's so cool.
So I'm maybe in that movie. So David Banner, and this is before he got like all ripped and fine, but he was always, because he's a fucking man. And so he's playing like the bad guy in Stomp the Yard 2, and I'm one of the extras. And this is the first, I had to be like 20, maybe 25. I think maybe 26. And he comes walking up. And this is the only time in my life has ever happened. He comes walking up and I felt my uterus jump. And then I was like, oh, David Banner. So like my body knew who it was.
I have never felt my uterus jump.
I'm telling you, I felt my whole...
The only time my uterus has ever jumped is when my IUD was getting inserted.
Okay? Hilarious.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, I felt that bitch move. Like, get him. And then my uterus moved, and then my brain went, David Banner. So, so my body knew who David Banner was before my brain knew who David Banner was. Please cut this as a clip so he can know about this. I need this to go viral. Somebody please tell David Banner that I love him so much.
Haein's body, she's trying to get her body to remember things.
And her body remembers just like the North remembers, the South remembers. Your uterus remembers the first time you ever see David Banner.
So she sees Hyunwoo, and then she goes back to the Queen's department store. She's back in her position. All the assistants are there, and then every single person. I felt bad
when she walked in and she walked past all the assistants,
and she didn't recognize them.
And then they were just like, "But we did sign NDAs," and it's just like, "What does that got to do with you saying hi to her?"
But then all these people are coming up to her, being like, "Oh, thank you so much."
The juice guy, the juice guy.
He's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. My baby's doing so well because of all of your like generous help."
I can say when it's like we decided what to name the baby and it wasn't her name, and I was like, "Oh, we named her Soocheol," and I'm like, "Who fucking cares? You were supposed to tell me you named the baby Haein because she saved the baby's life."
So then the other employee comes up and she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for helping with my mom's funeral."
With the doctors, she was able to pass.
Yeah,
and, she was able to pass peacefully, and then you sent flowers, and then you came to the funeral, and then Haein's like, "Oh,
I was Mother Teresa."
I was Mother Teresa, and then I went, "That's who that bitches remembers."
Mother Teresa. Yes,
she couldn't remember any of her friends. She could remember her assistant. She can't remember anybody, but she remembers Mother Teresa.
Again, sloppy.
And
then
bucket.
she talks to her assistant Na. And what drives me crazy, I know she signed an NDA, but when homegirl is out here talking nonsense, just like, clearly this person has no idea what's going on, right? Her secretary knows, her assistant knows, but her assistant doesn't even try to help. So this is what drives me crazy. There's a bunch of
leans
scenes
over because she's like, "Okay, you know her. You went to the thing." Okay, she's like,
Well, then, when she's doing all the spying that comes out, she starts spying on Hyunwoo and Hyunwoo's family. The assistant is there, but the assistant doesn't tell her, like, "Hey, actually, this guy isn't so bad. You're treating him like a fucking criminal, but that's like absolutely not the case. She doesn't say stuff. I understand she's under NDA, but like, come on.
Well, that's why I like the fact that when they are at the when they're hiding behind the wall,
yeah,
and she says to her, "The body remembers."
yeah.
I think that's her way of saying, you know, this man can't be that bad.
Why are
Because Why are we here? Why are we crouched down behind
Spying.
a wall in the snow if this man was truly that terrible?
Hyunwoo goes to court. So Hyunwoo is out here gathering all this evidence. So Youngi's gathering evidence.
He's like, look at this CCTV. Look at that CCTV. Go to my house, get that CCTV. Go to across the street. There's that CCTV.
Yes.
Look at this green fiber. Where did this green fiber come from?
Right, which is interesting because Hyunwoo's smart. Hyunwoo's like, you guys need to look at the evidence that the prosecution is trying to get rid of. Very smart.
Because that's evidence that's
Yeah.
going to refute their case.
Exactly. So they find the thread, they find all of it. There's a knife apparently. The murder weapon was a knife that was taken directly from Hyunwoo's office towel. So anyways.
But I guess you would use the knife that was in your house to
murder somebody? Apparently, yeah. So then at the trial, Youngi all of a sudden becomes a trial lawyer, not a divorce lawyer. He is a trial fucking lawyer. He's doing criminal proceedings now.
But aren't divorces in front of judges? Or is that usually just mediation?
I guess I shouldn't say trial lawyer because
Murder
they do
trial.
Yeah, it's a criminal proceeding,
Which is different than
he's a divorce lawyer, not a
criminal
lawyer.
But he's in his bag. See, I always thought he was cute.
Oh, he's okay. He's fine. He kind of looked goofy. Yeah.
He's better looking than Soocheol.
I don't think Soocheol is bad looking.
When I tell you I beg to differ. I'm not going to agree to disagree. Your Honor, Exhibit A, his face.
So they find video of the suspect taking the knife from Hyunwoo's house. But then here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. He recorded himself doing it. And he sent the video.
But at this point, Eunsung has walked into the trial.
Oh, yes.
And now he is watching. So then the clothes got burned. So this is what I couldn't figure out. They said, okay, this guy is a contract killer. So he's going to have to send video evidence
to prove that
he killed. So we need to get the pictures off his phone.
Yeah.
And then so he sends that fake link. Now I'm afraid to open any of those things. Because it's like, maybe I did get a UPS package because I get shit.
No.
But then it's like, and I'm going, wait a minute. They're like, oh, he copied his phone. I'm just like, who the did they send the link to? Because it's the same K-drama bad guy. So he's got on the black hat and the mask on. So I'm like, whose number did they send this fake link to copy his phone to get the pictures?
Apparently, they must have found out through the CCTV who the person was. And they tracked him down. So they sent that link to him for him to upload the crime.
To upload so we can copy. Again, makjang.
It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So he's acquitted. Yay! Everyone's happy. He leaves jail. He leaves prison. You know, in Korea, what you're supposed to do after you leave prison, right?
Eat tofu.
Yeah, eat the block of tofu. He doesn't want tofu, though.
I can't remember what I was watching where I learned that.
Every show does that. You come out of it's the kampang. That's what they call the prison. The joint.
El carcel.
Yeah, you eat the block of tofu so you don't go back to jail.
Okay, what is the significance of that?
I don't know. I'm always curious, but it's just something that I've always known. You always give the person tofu. Tofu?
Is it supposed to be abundance? Luck?
I don't know.
Do they not serve tofu in jail?
Maybe they don't. Isan and Hyuntae meet him at the jail. And they're all hugging him, and they're all so happy to see him. And then, of course, Haein is hiding in the corner in the car with her assistant. And she's jotting down notes. She's like, he doesn't like tofu. It's like, what the fuck are you taking notes? Okay.
He doesn't like tofu. He has a good relationship with his siblings.
Then they drive to
Yeongduri.
Yeongduri, where they have an entire like festival.
There's a whole
They
banner.
take the old banner down that was celebrating, you know, the joy or like the
Him
the
graduating or
prodigy of-
something.
the prodigy of Yeongduri, right? Have a new sign up. His dad is having a sale at the convenience store.
Oh, he's letting everything
Free
must
food.
go.
Free food.
And then
free
Soocheol's like, oh, you're following my
marketing
tactics of trying to, go out of business in 7 days.
Yes. So everyone's really happy. And then, the townspeople, everyone's there hugging Hyunwoo. His mom is making patjuk, which is a sweet bean porridge. It's so good.
Is it made from red beans?
Red bean. Red bean porridge. It's very good. My mom's favorite. It's very delicious. She's making that. And of course, this is when Haein is crouched down in the corner taking notes. And she notices her brother is there. She's like, why is my brother so close with my in-laws? And you're like,
if this man is so bad, he just got acquitted. So you found out he got acquitted. So she wasn't at the trial, but found out he was acquitted. So she's sitting outside. And it's just like, well, if this man is so awful, why is my brother at his parents' house?
Yeah.
And everybody is there. So it's just like, how could this man be so terrible?
if everyone loves him.
If everyone loves him. And this woman's secretary now is like, hey, what are we doing? Why am I crouched down behind a wall in the snow? Your body must remember. But our favorite Imo has shown up.
Beomja's there.
Beomja's there to get her baby boo.
She's like, you know what? I'm here to celebrate Hyunwoo's acquittal. I'm giving out prizes.
She said the catering's coming.
Catering's coming, prizes, everything. So they're back at the Yeongduri town center, community
Town hall,
center.
mind you. Before that, everyone's at the little convenience store and everyone's comes walking up. It's like, we're so happy that Yeonwoo's out of jail. And, it's like, well, we need a new washing machine and we need this new stuff. And, Eunsung, isn't there some lady who likes you? And she's like, hey, where's the town hall?
Yes, they're like, isn't the kindergarten teacher? Isn't she single? Oh, you should find someone. Why are you single? You should.
She's like,
date
we're
the
together. We're
teacher."
together. She's like,
She's not having any of it.
and then she's talking about, well, you were married 3 times and you're nice and you're rich. And, but it's like, they're asking about her and then they're asking about him, but then they don't put them together.
No, because literally she's a Chebel woman who's been married and divorced 3 fucking times.
And then the one was like, I'd have loved to have that kind of situation.
yeah, it's so funny.
So they throw this huge party. Listen, him marrying into this family is the best thing to happen for this town.
Yeah. They're getting these free prizes.
Listen, there was
left
beef
and right,
and pears
free
and
food.
lobster. And now she's bringing out gifts and prizes. And so she throws a big party. And there's this Hyuntae's, he's like basically the
MC.
The MC's the master of ceremonies. And they're like drawing numbers for people to get prizes. They're like, okay, they're picking out people to pick the prize numbers. And so it's like a raffle, right? And so Beomja sees what number. So the last big prize is the washing machine. And so Beomja see Eunsung's number and she kind of like tucks it in her hand, which also I love people just kind of like messing with the results of a raffle. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's like, this isn't truly random, right? And so she like kind of palms the number and then she calls him and he wasn't even paying attention to the raffle.
No.
She is so excited and he could care less. And her friend's like, because the one that wanted the washing machine was like, you want the washing machine? You want the
So
washing machine?
excited. So
and he was just
fucking
like,
excited.
oh, here, you take it. And she's like fuming.
Yeah, she's like, why would you, what the f-? So she drags him outside, right?
Follows him outside and has this whole speech. And it was just like, why would you do this? It's like, why are you being so selfish? Why didn't you take the washing machine? I heard your washing machine. You need a new washing machine. He's like, but it gets clothes clean.
Yeah,
So what's the problem? Everything's fine. And then she's like, you don't understand. I like you and I have to tell you. And then Hyuntae runs outside and it's like, hey, let me go ahead and take the speaker off your.
It's like the mic it's a lavalier mic. It's wireless.
It's wireless.
It's wireless.
It's a wireless mic. So let me go ahead and just take this up off you, player. And then it cuts to like the little briefest little like everyone inside can hear this conversation.
And they're so excited.
They're so excited to the point that Soocheol is just sitting there grinning, drinking tea. And he's just like, this is amazing. This is great. We love this. Slides the door open, slides the window open. Because at one point, Hyunwoo's dad is just like, go for it.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Because when she turns around, she's like, oh, she saw her so fast. And then he's like, go for it. And so she runs off embarrassed.
Oh my God.
And then Soocheol's like, it's great. Go find her. Go chase her. And she goes running after him. She goes running. And I'm just like, this is the cutest thing.
It's so cute. And I really wish the best for them, for that couple.
I mean, honestly. I mean, if anything, his mom's going to get the help she needs. At least a caregiver to make sure that she doesn't end up on top of mountains.
I feel like he's that kind of guy, though. He's going to live in Yongduri forever. She's going to have to live in Yongduri with him.
She's absolutely going to have to live in Yongduri. Now, will she upgrade the out that house?
Yes, but she's going to live that life. It's
going to be her and Soocheol in Dahye.
Yeah.
Out there in Yongduri.
Yeah.
Hyunwoo wants to get his position reinstated at Queen's Group. And they were like, well, we kind of can't stop him because he didn't get convicted. And
They're
he didn't
like, he's a zombie. He won't die. And you're like, why are you trying to come back?
But also
because of the embezzle. I think he's trying to solve the case still, right?
solve it, Detective Hyunwoo back on the case. So like he wants to solve the case, but he wants to also keep an eye on Haein because, she's in the clutches of Eunsung. But also, it's like you don't have to reinstate his job.
I know. Why do you guys keep on just going with it? But even crazier, though, is
the LPs are asking for a vote regarding the dismissal of the chairman, and Eunsung slaps the table because Moh Seul Hee is going to push him out to become the new chairperson.
the chairwoman.
The chairwoman.
Yeah.
Because she sent financial documents to the shareholders to show that he is like
He ain't got
losing
no
money.
Yeah. He's not
He's
making
losing money. And then so Eunsung rushes to buy more stocks by using the slush fund money.
Right. And then the family is keeping track of that, right?
And so it's like now it's like 4.2% or something like that. So the Hyung and the Peck families are meeting with Conan to discuss Eunsung's like latest moves.
Right. Right.
And so it's because if he starts delving into that money, because now it's like
He's using that slush fund.
he's
so that
using the
becomes
slush fund, so they
legal.
want him to use the slush fund so he can expose himself for having extra cash. He doesn't have reported anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, where'd you come up with all this money if it's not in any of your
Exactly.
accounts?
And then Hyunwoo now has evidence from Dahye. So there was a USB, right?
Yes.
That Dahye had gotten from her crazy boyfriend.
Crazy
that
baby
she's
daddy.
holding on to. And that has evidence that Eunsung conducted the 2 trillion won in, investment fraud in order to take over Queens. So that's all in
Why
that
is
little
there
thing.
anything on wax for this? And how the does she have it?
She stole it from
The boyfriend.
her boyfriend. Because the boyfriend was the finance manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Who tried to
there's
set up
just, like,
Soocheol?
So all of that is all like connected. And then this is a great moment.
This is a wild, wild moment. So Dahye, which I thought it was an interesting moment because I thought with Moh Seul Hee being like, okay, I don't understand why she met him alone. Because if everything's out in the open now,
Right.
why would she have to meet him in secret?
Right. Because her mother-in-law saw too. Like she knows everything. Yeah. I think that it still seems like she feels guilty. She's obviously feels super guilty, but I think she still wants to protect Soocheol.
Because doesn't want him to know the whole truth and nothing
The
but
whole
truth.
truth. And then she also knows that this guy is a bad person.
And he's
He will
dangerous.
do he's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I think to protect him, she's doing this to protect him and her family. So yeah, she shows up, gets in a car with him, and it's always those thug cars.
Let me tell you something. If I'd have pulled up, first of all, I ain't getting in shit. I'm not getting in no motherfucking car with someone who's already proven they will put hands on me and a baby. I would have been on the other side. But doors, listen, remember when the vans started opening on both sides and we were amazed?
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid being like, why doesn't this open on both sides?
I'm even more surprised, or I'm even more amazed
with the button.
when they're automatic. And I would sit there in New York. I would try to pry it open, and the Uber drivers get so mad at me.
He's like,
They're
no,
it's automatic. It's automatic.
It's automatic. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I remember the big signs, don't touch it. They'd put tape over the doors.
Yeah,
of the
because
crime
I would
scene.
just people just violently try, because you have to violently.
Because it's a van, but you gotta tug it, so. But
So
yeah,
funny.
if the second I opened that door and saw old boy in the back, old boy's driver, he's sitting across from me. There's a dude sitting behind me, and there's a dude on the driver's side. I'm tossing money in the van.
and then running away.
And then I'm gone.
Yeah.
So she gets in, and he's like, where's the USB? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, well, Moh Seul Hee has decided that we no longer need you around. Mm-hmm. You got to get got an 86U. And so, good Lord. Soocheol is chasing her on a bike. He's doing tricks. He's
two-wheel bike.
Two-wheel bike. He's sliding down the side. I guess.
Doing a great job.
I promise you that this is Hyunwoo's dad.
Teaching him how to ride a bike.
Teaching him how to ride a fucking bike. And so when that train comes, I was like, great. But then I was really like, oh, he's going to get his ass whooped. But when he throws the bike at the window, I was like, oh, God.
Also, if I were them, I would have gone through the train.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, the train wasn't coming at that point.
No.
No. So anyways, yeah.
But I don't think they realized he was behind them on the bike. I also don't think.
They did. They did. And they're like, oh my God. And they're like rushing away.
But I would have gave a shit because it's the dude on a bike.
Right. And then they know that he's kind of like a joke.
Uh-huh.
You know?
So it's like, sure, catch up with us.
So he throws the bike, which I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought that was
on
pretty
the
cool too.
windshield, and he's like, rah!
I thought he would have kept hitting people with the bike.
Yeah.
He did not.
Nope.
He throws the bike at the window, lets it go, and then he just punches a window out. And I was like, okay, somebody took these boxing classes.
Yep.
And then he proceeds to get his ass whooped.
He gets his ass whooped, but then he starts remembering
His training.
the training.
Because he's on the ground getting kicked. And then Hyuntae pops up. He's like, yeah, let them underestimate you.
Yes.
You stay on the ground.
Yes.
And then you grab them. And then he knocks him out. And then he knocks him out. And then he knocks him out. And then I guess he just falls down.
Yeah, because he's completely, And then the entire time Dahye is telling him to run away. She's like, run away. And he's like, no.
I love it. Because the guy who was, because when she finally bites that dude, I'm like, good. And so she's laying there and she's like, please wake up. And then she's like, I love you. Please wake up. And then he wakes up and he says it back. And then everything is great. And it's very sweet.
And then
the diary comes back from the dead.
So the diary is saved by the pile of snow.
Yes.
Then of course his old man, whose name is Mr. Ivan, he finds it. He goes through the rubble of the snow or like whatever, the remnants of the fire.
He sees the 4-leaf clover poking out of the snow inside of this trash can. In fact, honestly, this is one of those cigarette trash cans too. Maybe that's why it was on fire, because it was an ashtray trash can.
Okay, maybe. He brings it back to the hospital.
To the nurse's station.
And then the nurses are like...
Because, there's a foreign language. We can't read it.
And they're like, oh, is this the one that Mr. Peck wanted? And then they mail it, but they don't mail it to... Okay, so they're saying that Yangi called about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would they not mail it to Yangi or Hyunwoo? But they end up mailing it magically to Haein.
But maybe he told them, if you find it, mail it to Haein because it was for Haein.
Maybe, okay. So
that makes sense.
Right. So the mail gets delivered to Queenstown. And then Grace is there. She sees Haein and she's like, it's me, Grace unnie. And Haein's just like, I don't.
And then she tries to give her a big hug, and then she pinches her sleeve and is like, I don't think we're as close as you're trying to say we are.
Exactly.
Because this goes back to Secretary Na saying the body remembers.
The body remembers.
So even in me not remembering who you are.
Yeah.
And knowing what our relationship is, my body's like, hey, Miss Girl, I need you to back up.
Doesn't have a chance to open the package, but she leaves because she gets a text
From
herself from a month ago.
the past.
From the past. So she gets a text and it's telling her to go to an aquarium. So she goes.
She
to
didn't
the
have
aquarium.
nothing else to do that day?
She didn't.
Was that not a work day? She was in a suit. I don't know.
She goes to the aquarium, right? And of course, she enters the aquarium, and Hyunwoo's there, and Hyunwoo's like, "What is this about?" And
What'd
she's
you text
like,
me for?
"What do you mean?"
What do you mean?
He's like, "You sent me this,"
And she said, I sent me this.
and it's surprise, and it's literally a video montage of their wedding and their love for each other. And then the staff comes out, and they're like, "Paek Hyunwoo, who's Paek Hyunwoo?" And they have a huge bouquet of flowers, and they give it to Hyunwoo. And yeah, and then Haein's just kind of like, why would I do this? Like, why would I plan this for someone who's like basically ruined my life? And he's
And
like,
she said, and I did it 4 weeks. They're like, oh, ma'am, you planned this 4 weeks ago, and you planned this 4 years ago. And then Hyunwoo was like, hey, that's why there was no body at the damn aquarium when we went, because that's the day, and that's the day he proposed to her.
yeah. And he's like, oh, and I thought it was fate.
Nah, girl, it was a bitch with money. Also, are we giving men flowers?
Apparently.
I have seen lately, it's just like, hey, maybe we should give men flowers.
I'll give Thomas flowers.
Mr. Thomas, you want flowers?
Oh.
Would you want flowers, or would you want like a bouquet of protein? That's what the I
He
thought.
wants a bucket of chicken breast.
Get
Extra cooked chicken breast.
Just give
Not juicy, but well done.
Just give him skewers wrapped in paper, and then that could be Mr. Thomas's bouquet.
So he basically is like,
She reads the card.
yeah, she reads the card. And he's encouraging her at this point. He's like, take this all in as evidence. You need to stop fucking listening to Eunsung.
And I'm not a trash ass person.
Yeah.
Take this as evidence, because the card she sends said, let's get married again. Let's have another wedding. And it was just like, and he just was like, hey, you did this.
Yeah.
This is our wedding video.
Yeah.
You look at the card that you wrote, but
Dumb.
I can say if I was her, I could be like, well, how do I know you didn't plan this?
That's true. This could be a whole big lie. Because you basically, she thinks he's a dirtbag psychopath.
So why wouldn't he get in
a psychopath would do something like this?
Why wouldn't you think that he would say that he did it, that you did this?
Oh, and then she notices, right?
The scars on his hands.
Yeah, she like looks over. She's like, okay. There's
Scarring him
scars.
them knuckles.
Then she goes back to Queenstown, and she's ready to ask Eunsung some hard questions.
And he gets up yelling at her in her own house.
He's like, where have you been? Blah, blah, blah.
And she's like, the f*** are you yelling at?
And he's also drunk.
Yes, because he doesn't know where she is.
And his mom is trying to take him down.
Also might be trying to kill her.
Yes.
So might be trying to kill her. So it's his mom might be trying to kill her. Might be trying to take his job. He doesn't know where Haein is. And now Hyunwoo's out of jail. So she's worried that Haein's with Hyunwoo and that his mother's trying to destroy his life and kill his girlfriend.
He is also, she asks why he's moping, basically, because he's drinking, and he's like, oh, I'm so happy that you care about me. He's like, you and I are both abandoned. Why don't we take care of each other? Why don't we move to the States? And then she's like, are you sure I was abandoned?
Bitch.
And he's like,
of course you're abandoned.
and he's just kind of like, he's like, do you want a drink? Why are you offering a woman who just came out of surgery a month ago alcohol?
Listen.
Again,
she's
the writers.
She's still on medication. He's drunk. What does somebody else who's drunk want? For other people to drink. Because he's trying to distract her, and then she notices some footage pop up on his iPad.
Yes.
And when he goes to get more alcohol, and she notices that he's been spying on everyone, including the chairman and she sees the clip.
Yeah, she sees a little fucking iPad with the
Now, mind you, she shouldn't know who Moh Seul Hee is.
unless she saw pictures.
Unless she saw pictures where she looked at the articles, so she would know about. Well, then she would know about Moh Seul Hee if she read articles about her family and stuff, and she looked up the chairman that's her grandpa. Then maybe she would see, Moh Seul Hee becoming power of attorney and all these other things.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
if she sees the clip
Yeah.
of the chairman falling out, and then Moh Seul Hee just yanking paper out of his hand and sitting down and watching him lay on the ground. This jig, what do we say?
The jig is up.
The jig is up, and it's stuck.
And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to go. He's like, did you have a question for me? She's like, you know what? I think I'm good. And then she notices
there's no scar on his hand. Because if your hand was bandaged up and now it's not.
Yeah.
Whereas if you told me you punched your hand through a window, a car window.
Yeah.
So where
is your scar?
Where's your scar? Where is the evidence?
So, and then, I think this was earlier in the episode, he put a tracker in her car, right? So he's like tracking her whereabouts. So she drives off. She goes back to her house. She asks her assistant for Hyunwoo's phone number.
She's like, I got a new phone.
And she calls him and she's like, hey, can we meet? And he's like, sure, let's meet. But then before she goes, she finds the diary. She opens the package. She reads the diary.
And it's like, I would stay alive for this man. I would do anything for this man. If you don't remember anything, remember that this man did this for you and did that for you. And she cries and she reads everything. And it's a montage of him helping her with the copier. Because she's like, he's going to look cute. He's going to help. He fixes things. And then it's the copier. And then he looks cute when he's drunk. And then it's like, oh, yeah, him looking for the raccoon at the department store. And she asked him to be patient with her if she forgets him and to continue loving her. And he's the person she wants to remember. Like, he is the person that she wants her to remember. And, then there's a flashback of the copy machine in their first meeting. And so if this is me reading a letter to me, because what she doesn't ever question when she opens it is, why was this on fire?
Also, like,
why are the pages burnt?
Why is this from, I guess I would question, like, why is this from Germany?
I mean, I understand I was just there, so I must have left this at the hospital.
Or does someone hide this, clearly?
Well, where did this come from?
Yeah.
The hospital sent this to me, so it must have been left at the hospital. But again, all the pages are singed. Like, what the happened to this? The leather's fine, but these pages have had a horrible day. And then you read all this letter you wrote to yourself, and you're like, well, it makes sense that now she's in her car on the move. And then Eunsung is drunk in his home and gets a notification on his cellular phone that Haein's car is on the move.
It's on the move, and she is driving across the Han River. She's sobbing, and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. So she rushes over to where Queenstown is.
But she still doesn't remember everything. Like, her memories don't rush back.
I don't think her memories rush back. I think she's just reading everything and just like, yeah. So then she goes to where she's supposed to meet Hyunwoo. She parks, she runs out. They're across the street from each other, right? Another like K-drama trope. You're always across the street from someone, right? So they're rushing over and they're like running towards each other. Then a bus comes. So Haein's across the street. Hyunwoo's here. A bus comes.
So so Hyunwoo's in the median and Haein's in the street and then on the sidewalk.
The bus stops. Haein was there, but then the bus drives off.
And she's gone.
Then he's crossing the street looking for her, and
gets
he gets
hit by a fucking car.
When
I tell you this was so jarring the first time I watched it.
But you knew this, right? I knew he was going to get hit by a car.
I knew he was going to get hit by a car too. Because the second time I watched it, I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm like, he's going to get hit by a car. And so the fact that the bus passes and then he gets hit by a car, and there's no way we don't know who hit him. It's too obvious.
Yeah. A man in a drunken stupor.
A man in a drunken stupor. hits Hyunwoo with this car, and the stuntman did his damn job that day.
Jesus Christ.
I said, also, this is the end of episode 15. There's only one more episode. We've had to deal with this bitch being sick for 14, 15 episodes. She finally goes to the doctor. We were a month out from her healing. Now she's supposed to get her memory back, and now her man just got hit by a car. So now we got to deal with this motherfucker healing. Hopefully he don't lose his memory.
This isn't even the crazy part.
And this isn't even the crazy part.
Episode 16 is
Insane.
insanity.
So let's go to the epilogue. So the Hong Kil-dong detectives.
So these are the detectives. We kind of passed by this, but these are the detectives that Haein's family hires, right?
Pum dead.
The Pums hire them to track Haein in Germany. So instead of sending family members, they sent a spy agency to watch her over, right? So I wanted to say these three members of the Hong Kil-dong
What other show were they on?
This is all cameos. There are three very famous comedians in Korea. So the woman is also a former model. So she's probably friends with Mizhan in real life. Hong Jin-kyung, she is hysterical. She's in all the variety shows that I love. She's so funny. And then the two other guys is Soocheol and Nam Chang-hee. And these are also guys on variety shows. Soocheol just got married. Like, they're very, very popular, well-known in Korea right now.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of cute that they made the little cameos. But basically, the agency members, they report back saying...
When he stepped out of Conan's supply closet... in his tracksuit, nobody was ready for that.
They basically report back to the Hong family being like, I don't think you need to worry about your daughter falling in love with this guy or like believing this guy, because it's very clear throughout her recovery period. Like you said, her body is remembering, her body is rejecting.
Because he's trying to put a sweater on her. She's like, I got it. He tried to hold her hand. She's like, I can walk alone. Anytime he tried to do these like lovey, because even the nurses were like, well, wait a minute.
I know, because she'd be like,
I'm okay. I don't need a hug. I'm okay.
Yeah, she really like this episode.
It was too much.
It riled me up.
It was too much. It was too much.
It riled me up.
She wrote too many things. This could have been 3 more episodes. There were a lot of things that they didn't need to do that they did. It didn't make sense. I don't understand. It's just wild. As much as I love the Dahye and Soocheol situation, I also could have done without it. It was cute. It was nice to get a resolution to their story.
That's fine. To me, things that make sense logically, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
The illogical, the stuff, the random, like the MP3 player magically appearing. That is so stupid. The fucking sand glass or hourglass in the middle of the fucking hospital. I don't know what that means. And then the diary, like, they could have just like hid the diary. They didn't have to like burn it and then like have it resurrected back to life. And like,
I think it would have made more sense if she found it while she was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Like if Hyunwoo had like put it in a drawer or something.
Yes. The Soocheol Dahye stuff, that didn't bother me.
Fine.
I love the Yongduri stuff. That made me happy because again, that makes a lot more sense. It's just this Hyunwoo, Haein, Eunsung, Moh Seul Hee shenanigans. Even the Moh Seul Hee stuff, like that's even more like that's
I
fine.
didn't need the murder trial.
Well, he needed to get acquitted.
Well, he needed to get gone so Eunsung would have a way to get in, right?
Yeah.
But I think I would have liked it better if, say, he was charged with something else. Like, say, he caught the embezzlement charge.
Yeah, it's too convenient the way... Basically, Eunsung had a lot that he needed to do to plant all the evidence, do this and that.
He could have just rolled this embezzlement from the dad because Hyunwoo was the lawyer, so he could have been involved anyway. So all this embezzlement stuff could have rolled to Hyunwoo. Yeah. They could have frozen his finances. They could have had him trapped in Korea. You could have trapped him fucking anywhere. You could have said, oh, you're facing embezzlement in the United States. And then Hyunwoo's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, so I remember reading about this, and I need to go back, and I think for episode 16 next week, we'll talk about it more. But people really did not like the last couple episodes. Like
it
the
was
audience just really were like, this is when
What is
this
happening?
has gone off the rails. Absolutely gone off the rails. And I felt it too. During the first watch, I was annoyed. Not as annoyed as the second one. This watch, I
Way
was
more
like
annoyed the second
very
time.
annoyed. And then
Way more annoyed.
and then the final episode, I've only watched that once. I've only watched it once. I never haven't rewatched it yet. I'm saving it, so when we like prep for it, I'll like watch it. But I just remember initially that episode just being like, "What the f- is
What the
happening?"
fuck is
Like
happening?
truly,
Yeah.
truly.
I watched 15. I watched 15 today.
Yeah.
And I like to rewatch like the day, so it's like everything's
Yeah, it's, like, fresh, yeah.
It's like I rewatched and I was like, did all of this happen the first time I watched this?
Yeah, apparently it did.
Did all of these things happen? I
Because
was like,
it's so much.
at one point I was watching, I was like, I don't even remember the fucking trial.
Next week
Next
is
week,
going to be the final episode.
the
Which is
finale.
crazy. Episode 16.
Yes, he says.
This has been a wild ride.
Truly.
We have a special episode too. We can't go fully into it yet, but it's going to be a special episode. Special 16. We're doing something different.
A little different,
So,
folks. A little different for episode 16.
Yeah, so I hope y'all like it. But yeah, so we'll be back next Wednesday. Please be sure to check us out wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Go on our social channels, follow, like, engage, subscribe, all the things. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. And yeah, and check out our website, chasingkdramas.com. And if you have any comments, please email us at chasingkdramas@gmail.com. See you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Bye.
사랑해.
Chasing K-Dramas is hosted and executive produced by Dulcé, Sloan, and me, Chrissy Choi. I edit the audio and video, and our production is led by Thomas Yuen from TY Media and Go Get 'Em Productions. Our artwork is designed by Yice Cream. We're an indie podcast, and we're always looking for fun partnerships. If you're a brand that's interested in sponsoring our chases, or for your fan who just wants to stay in touch, please check out our website at chasingkdramas.com.